Jamming.
We're jamming.
Good morning to Kokui, our judge extraordinaire for the keyboard. I know you were looking amazing. It was an amazing night. I was there. You guys didn't know I was there. It was
I know.
Beautiful
you
venue.
were hiding in the shadow. Very
beautiful venue.
Very.
It was Tessano, right?
Very impressive.
Awesome.
I was really impressed with the venue.
Yeah.
It was a great night. I'm sure we'll talk about it later on after the newspaper review. But congratulations to all of the contestants.
And Irajua is just awesome.
She's the champion. Yes, she's the keyboard idol.
But congrats to all. I mean, it's been a great experience. 13 weeks. Really interesting. Congratulations to all concerned. Good morning to you, Nathan Quao.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, great to know that. All right, so let's say good morning to all the winners of the Journalism Award. Samson Ladi Ayeni, my good friend. Congratulations. And to listeners of Citi FM helping us win again. Thank you so much. I wish I could cut the award in pieces and share for everybody. Unfortunately, we can't. So we'll do some nice shows for you to keep you glued. Let's start with the headlines, guys.
Well, let's get into the daily graphic and end fake news. That's the president's charge to the media at Graphic's 70th anniversary ball. Graphic sweeps 11 GJA awards. Of course, talking about the GA Awards. And high-profile burial service ushers Madame Agbotui home.
The Ghanaian Times. Journalists must uphold ethics and principles to promote nation building, peace and security, says the Chief Justice. And as you mentioned, Samson Ladi Anyanyini, judged 2019 Journalist of the Year. President cuts sword for construction of first phase of Tema Aflao Road. And second-hand car dealer wanted for alleged fraud.
The Daily Guide says NDC messages unconvincing. Takrady girls bones in court. Mahama supervised crass corruption. Rawlings in tears. Daily Guide picks 2 JJ awards. And MPP launches adopt a polling station campaign.
The Publisher. Government's unpaid debt to GCNet and West Blue spark trouble. Cop accidentally shoots Aqua Safari security guard. And I wish you die in prison, judge tells jailbird. A very disturbing story there, Bernard. And election 2020. EC prints ballot papers and political parties notified.
The Daily Statesman says, I've been truthful to you. Akufo-Addo asks Ghanaians for 4 more years. Voting MPP means 1 step forward. NDC means 2 steps backwards. That's Dr. Baumia. And post-COVID-19 rebuilding crucial in December 7 polls, says CVM.
The New Crusading Guide. Akufo-Addo dazzles through Accra, calls for more votes and cuts sought for construction of new solid waste treatment facility. Government yet to pay debt owed GCNet and West Blue. John Mahama's 2020 campaign, led by Sami Jemfi, over bloated with sophomoric humor. And Jospong partners government to construct stadium and waste plant for Oti region.
The Informer says UN charges Ghana police to pursue and achieve mandate of ensuring peace. That's in relation to the election. Ghana retrogressing. Professor Jainana Opokwajiman speaking. Jospong joins government to construct solid waste plant for Uti region. And chief urges subjects to rally behind NDC due to ex-president Mohamed Sterling performance.
The chiefs are still talking. All right. The Chronicle. President pleads with voters. I've passed my exams. I need 4 more years. All right. NDC health walk turns bloody after a sniper reportedly fired into the crowd. And we've been talking about this. What happened in Ododo. Baumia officially launches Adopt a Polling Station campaign, and NDC 2020 campaign is full of sophomoric humor.
The Herald.
Is that 2 newspapers with the same headline?
Yes, with the same headline, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the Herald says Ghana Armed Forces lose system getting Lebanese guns to robbers. Osafumafu and others plunged Ghana into $120 million debt over GCNet West Blue contract termination. Minister caught paying SHS students to transfer votes into his constituency, and Defense Minister accused of extorting NAPCO beneficiaries to fund his re-election, but 3 elliptical marks there.
The Ghanaian Observer. I've been honest and truthful to Ghanaians, says Akufo-Addo. CVM chides Mahama over mortuary and Okada policies. President cuts sword for 40-bed bond, 400-bed Tema regional hospitals. A choice for NPP is 1 step forward. A choice for NDC is 2 steps backward, says Vice President Baobia. And government to construct stadium and waste plant for Oti region.
The Publisher says Samson Ladi is 2019 best journalist. I've been honest and truthful to Ghanaians. President Akufo-Addo, NPP launches Adopt a Polling Station campaign. Ghana records $785.62 million in terms of FDI in 6 months, and majority leader demands action on pollution of Pra River.
The front page of the Finder has lots of stories. President Akufo-Addo cuts sword for 2 hospitals to deliver 440 beds. The president also calls for collective efforts to fight fake news. Again, Samson Ladi is 2019 Best Journalist. Dr. Baumia launches online portal to capture database of cocoa farmers. Government foots medical bills of Achim Batebi disaster victims. And Anado has brought free SHS. What else can't he do for Ghana, says Adeso Chief.
Okay. The BNFT says over 60% CAP bus applicants have no bank accounts.
Wow.
IMF projects economy won't contract amid pandemic. Ghana defies FDI drop predictions, records impressive growth for H1 2020. GCNet West Blue seek $300 million payout, and Akufo-Addo cuts short for construction of waste plants and stadium in Oti region.
The Economy Times. Government borrows over 22 billion Ghana cedis from domestic market. AFCFTA implementation, a single currency for the continent discussion is imminent. And Ghana pleads with G20 to extend suspension on debt servicing for 2 years.
Let's take you online. A lot of stories on this Monday morning. Government donates 200,000 cedis to Achim Batebi victims as Baumia visits the church building collapse site. Also, founder of the church whose building collapse granted bail. Other stories: NDC MPP supporters clash at Jamestown. There's a video. Meanwhile, police say to NDC supporters in Selormey, turn yourselves in. Other stories: Akufo-Addo cuts short for 40-bed Quao Hospital, 400-bed Tema Regional Hospital. And then, of course, a PAM police officer dies after being knocked down by a truck at checkpoint. And of course, Samson Ladi, Ayenini judged GJ Journalist of the Year. That's also on citynewsroom.com. If you go to myjournline.com, the lead story there is NDC MPP supporters in Jamestown clash after peace walk. Also, multimedia groups, Ayenini is Journalist of the Year. Meanwhile, Rawlings' tribute to his mother, Antivic, was a strict and uncompromising disciplinarian. And opposition teaches political parties lessons in humility. This is Sam Koranche Ankara. Citybusinessnews.com. FDI increased by over 400% in 2020 first half. Also, NSAS protests will hit Ghana's economy if it continues or if it escalates, according to an economist. And Finance Minister to present first quarter budget for 2021 this week. So watch out for that one. If you go to Star FM, 15 injured as NDC MPP supporters clash at Ododo. Also, vote number 1 if you've benefited from any of Akufo-Addo's programs. This is Kojo Opo Nkrumah. And Akufo-Addo cuts out for 40-bed Quao Hospital, 400-bed Tema Regional Hospital. So that story is doing really well on most websites. Now let's go to GNA. So President cuts off for Quao Hospital, Tema Regional Hospital. Maybe we should start with that. It's everywhere. Now, we must eliminate fake news from media space. This is the president. Also, media has a crucial role in election 2020, according to GJA President Afel Money. And GNA sweeps 7 awards at 25th GJA Awards. Let me take you abroad quickly. Nigeria, I'm avoiding debates over Lekki toll gate incident until all facts are established. This is Buhari speaking. Now, if you go to the BBC, Spain imposes national curfew to avoid COVID spread. This is serious. National curfew. All right, so let's start with the stories we have. Nathan and Kokui, where are you going to start from?
I don't know.
Maybe 2 hospitals and all of that. Okay. Start with the Finder. Let's just get into what the president has been up to.
All right.
And then we'll give you the award stories over the weekend.
Definitely. Let's go to the Finder. As Bernard said, 2 hospitals to deliver 440 beds. President Nana Dadudankwa Akufo-Addo has cut the sod for the construction of 2 hospitals to deliver 440 beds to augment healthcare in the country. The 400-bed Tema Regional Hospital, okay, it's going to be one of them. President Akufo-Addo cut the sod for the construction of a secondary level hospital to be located in Tema and a 40-bed municipal hospital at Quao in the Greater Accra region. He said that through an Ashra facility with an insurance premium of over 20 million euros, an amount of 140 million euros has been secured for the construction of the Nkranza District Hospital, 400-bed secondary level hospital at Tema, accident and emergency department and ward at the Doma Hospital, and reconstruction of the central medical stores that got burnt in January 2015. Remember that story? So yeah, this looks like a very interesting project. The sod has been cut. Let's see how things progress.
So that story found its way into a lot of papers, including a GNA and all of those. So that story is there. Then he says we must eliminate fake news from the media space. He was speaking at the graphic event. The president, speaking at the 70th anniversary of Graphic Communications Group in Accra on Saturday, pointed out that though technological advancement has brought several improvements to the speed at which news reach the world, this had also engendered fake news, which presented clear dangers that ought to be addressed. And he was speaking at this Graphic at 70 event. He emphasized that the development of fake news is not only alarming, but also poses a serious threat and danger to every fabric of our society. And he says we must make a concerted effort to eliminate this phenomenon from our media space, difficult though it is. This might be for the health of the nation. Nathan.
Well, since you mentioned the graphic event, let's then talk a bit about the GJA Awards.
Yes, please.
Page 16 of the Daily Graphic states that the Graphic Communications Group Limited has once again exhibited its dominance in the media space by picking 11 awards at the 25th GJA Awards. The editor of the Daily Graphic, Mr. Kobi Asma, picked the special award, the Outstanding Editor Award, while Mr. Emmanuel Quao was giving a special award in photojournalism and camera work. The company's flagship newspaper, the Daily Graphic, also won newspaper.
All right, but the big story there, Selormey Ayenini Multimedia Group has been adjudged 2019 Journalist of the Year. This is on citynewsroom.com. Mr. Ayenini, who doubles as a legal practitioner and the host of Newsfile, won the award with the for democracy and peace building on the night. Delivering a speech at the ceremony, Mr. Ayenini said journalists play an important role in the country's democracy. He cautioned political actors and security personnel to desist from assaulting journalists, adding that this is a criminal offense. As we go into election 2020, I want to repeat today, take your evil eyes and hands off journalists. Some journalists spend sleepless nights to inform the public. Please cooperate with journalists and stop attacking them. Too many journalists have been attacked, and I have had the privilege of standing in for some of them in court. Even if they do no wrong or conduct themselves, even if they do wrong and conduct themselves criminally, please do what is done in a democracy. Call for their arrest. No one has the right to lay their hands on them, he said. In all 67 awards were given out. Citi FM was adjudged English Radio Station of the Year, and the show you are listening to, Citi Breakfast Show, was adjudged the Best Morning Show English category. Yes, let's move other way. Yes. Troubling story coming in across many websites. I don't know if the newspapers have it, because it's a very sordid story of supporters of NDC MPP clashing with machete wounds and all of that.
Okay, let's go to the Ghanaian Times for that. Supporters of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress attacked each other at Jamestown in the Ododo constituency, leaving a number of them injured. It occurred on the Atamils Highway at a junction called One Way on Sunday morning. Videos emerged on social media about the clash, showing supporters in both parties wearing party paraphernalia, throwing stones, bottles, and other items at each other on the street. We heard on City News explanations from some of the people who were there as to what happened. Obviously, as you can imagine, each side is blaming the other, so no one really knows the real cause of the clash, but I'm sure we'll be getting more information. Some people are receiving treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and the constituency has been identified by the Ghana Police Service as one of the hotspot zones, so we need to watch out as the elections are
This is not the first time Ododo has come in the news. It's always been like this, and I think the two parliamentary the parliament MP and the parliamentary aspirant need to take the lead in stopping this, because their supporters will listen to them. And we also urge the police to be firm, because this is getting out of hand.
Well, if you go to page 2 of the Daily Statesman, since we're talking about elections, the president is asking for 4 more years to continue the good works his government has started. He was speaking at the Resurrection Power New Generation Church yesterday at the start of his 4-day tour of the Greater Accra region, and the president appealed to the electorate to renew their confidence in him when they go to the polls on December 7.
Now in Kumasi, police are asking NDC supporters to storm the Selormey police station to turn themselves in. This story is on citynewsroom.com. Says the Asante Regional Police Command has advised NDC supporters who besiege the police station at Selormey to report themselves to the police. The command gave them until 9 a.m. today, Monday, October 26. The persons stormed the police station on Saturday, demanding the release of some of their colleagues who were arrested in a police swoop. The command claims the protesting supporters attacked the police station officers on duty verbally and physically, though City News is yet to cite evidence to that effect. They were also seen in the video hitting the counter of the charge office. In a statement, it notes one Yakubu Tony Edio of NDC, after scrutinizing video footage from the incident, it said they were seen in the video hitting the counter of the charge office. The command is therefore advising the persons involved who besieged the station in their own interest to report to the Regional Police Command latest today, October 26 at 9 a.m. to assist police with investigations without fail, the statement added.
All right. Yeah, that story is also captured in the publisher. But let's look at this one, Bernard. So disturbing. The headline says, "I wish you die in prison," judge tells jailbird. And she said this for good reason. Okay. All right. A Cape Coast Circuit Court judge, Mrs. Dorinda Arthur Smith, has wished that a convict she sentenced to 21 years imprisonment with hard labor dies in prison for defiling his 2-year-old granddaughter.
Are you serious? Wow.
She described the act as vicious, saying the convict could not show sympathy to the survivor at that tender age. The convict, Kofi Appiah, 60 years old, pleaded guilty to the charge of defilement. That he's also a carpenter. He's the uncle to the survivor's father, lives in the same vicinity. Apparently, the little girl disappeared while she was playing, and they were trying to find her, and an aunt of hers heard crying coming from the room of the criminal. She ended up having to break the room down and caught him assaulting this baby girl. And I can't understand this.
This is terrible.
I can't understand it.
Okay,
at all.
now we are in the... What paper do you have now?
This is the Informer.
What do they have for us?
Well, the Informer has something from the IMF.
Okay.
Now, it's saying that, be careful, IMF warns Ghana and other sub-Saharan African countries over debts. Now, regarding public debt and fiscal policy in sub-Saharan Africa, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has noted that given the unprecedented scale of the coronavirus, an ideal policy mix should include a strong growth for fiscal stimulus to support aggregate demand. However, the Bretton Woods institution said sub-Saharan African countries needed to proceed cautiously on this line. Now, this was captured in their regional outlook report on sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay, just buttressing that point, or well, piggybacking off that, I should say. The Economy Times has this headline: Ghana pleads with G20 to extend suspension on debt servicing for 2 years. Now, obviously, COVID has hit us pretty hard. And so our finance minister, Keno Foriata, has been pleading with the rich countries to consider extending the moratorium on debt servicing for poorer countries, as granted same by the World Bank. He wants the G20 countries to extend their debt service suspension initiative by 2 years and also re-examine the scheme. Last week, the World Bank announced that they were extending debt service suspension initiative for Ghana and other, well, relatively poorer countries by 6 months at the behest of the COVID-19 pandemic and global rush for economy support. The initiative freezes low-income countries' external debt service payments to official bilateral creditors until the end of this year, just to help us, during this critical time.
Let's take you to Rawlings pays tribute to late Madam, using the GNA story. Former President Jerry John Rawlings Saturday paid tribute to his late mother, Madam Victoria Agutui, describing her as a fearless woman with amazing work ethic. The former president said this when he bid farewell to his mother at a state interdenominational funeral service at the forecourt of the State House in Accra. The service was attended by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, both current and former ministers of state, members of parliament, members of the diplomatic community, the clergy, and members of the public. Former President Rawlings in his tribute said, "My mother was tough and determined and never stopped threatening to use the rod. She was fearless and had the most amazing work ethic. She believed the devil found use for idle hands, so she kept herself and those around her busy at all times." And President Rawlings says, "I grew up wanting to be independent, free-spirited, and driven to achieve. And in many ways, this is what being a pilot in the number 4 Squadron of the Air Force offered me." Then he says, "My mother's uncompromising, exacting standards laid the foundation for me to give of my best at the exacting requirements of being a fighter pilot." Madam Victoria Agutui died on Saturday, 24th October at the age of 101. Her remains were conveyed to Jelukope in the Volta region for interment after the interdenominational service at the State House. A short burial service was held at Keta School Park, after which Madam Agutui was interred at a private cemetery. Okay. May she rest in peace.
May she rest in peace.
If you go to page 3 of the Daily Guide, it says Takoradi girls' bones in court. Story written by Emmanuel Opoku in Sekondi. Says the Sekondi High Court, hearing the trial of 2 Nigerians who allegedly kidnapped and killed the 4 missing girls in Takoradi, has ordered that the skeletal remains retrieved from a septic tank at Kansarodu near Takoradi and confirmed to be that of the missing girls be brought to court. The 7-member jury empaneled for the trial of Samuel Udetok Wills and John Oji requested to see the bones of the girls after the head of the pathology department of the police hospital in Accra, Superintendent Dr. Osei Wusefrie, testified in the case on Friday as the 19th witness.
COVID is also rising somewhere else. So this is BBC lead story. Spain imposes national nighttime curfew to curb infections. Spain has declared a national state of emergency and imposed a nighttime curfew in order to help control a new spike of COVID-19 infections. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says the curfew, which came into force on Sunday night, would be in place between 23 hours, that's 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Under the measures, local authorities can also ban travel between regions. And he said he would ask Parliament to extend the new rules, initially in force for 15 days, to 6 months. Hey! Spain was hit hard during the first wave of the pandemic earlier this year, and at the time imposed a much more restrictive lockdown, one of the toughest in the world. Like many other European regions, however, it has been hit by a second wave. In Italy, new restrictions were also announced on Sunday. Government said the steady rise in cases there was causing a huge strain on the country's health services. France has reported a record number of new infections, total of 52,000 infections reported on Sunday, up from just over 45,000 on Saturday. And then there's a chart showing the new trend. Germany is rising, Italy is rising, UK is rising, Spain is rising. France is rising.
It's serious business, so.
Wow. But anyway, let's keep safe. Thank you, Kokui.
Yes.
Thank you, Nathan.
Did you watch El Clasico?
It was one of the most boring El Clasicos I've ever seen. But congratulations again to Irajua and all the fantastic performers Kelvin, for the night. Keyboard idol. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, all of
Street. In every town and all across Ghana, everyone has goals. What's your goal?
I want to expand my business in the next year.
I want to own my own house in 5 years.
I want to invest and grow my wealth.
I want to plan for my wedding.
Fidelity Bank understands that individually we are strong, but together we can do more. From Kokui, our WhatsApp banking assistant, to our online banking platform where you can make payments and do all your